Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Bears Talk Today. We're back. Me and Justin had a little vacation time. Not together, surprisingly. We actually went on 2 separate vacations. Like, kind of one week apart. We had a little romantic getaway. I'm just kidding. No, we missed a little bit of time, but trust me, we did not miss the Bears game. We have another Bears game to talk about this week. But before we get into Bears versus Giants, our second straight victory, I think we got to wind back the clock a little bit.
Yeah.
Like Pipple says, we're bringing it back.
Yeah.
2
no
weeks.
Copyright.
Yeah, no copyright, please. Bears versus the Ravens. Justin, this game, in my opinion, was one of the worst games of the year. I'm glad that we were not on the air for that one.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts? If you can give just kind of the quick cliff notes, what your takeaways were from the Ravens game.
Sure, yeah. I just thought we really couldn't beat ourselves in that game. I mean, we had every advantage, opportunity. Obviously, Lamar Jackson wasn't playing. I really felt like during that game, their offense was not great, but they were still able to, especially in that second half, use Derrick Henry to really mess up our interior defense, our secondary, and really after that, it really just seemed like we couldn't. It kind of goes back to the past couple of games to where we can't get completions, we can't score. If I'm remembering correctly, it was either the last drive or a few drives before in that fourth quarter when we could have scored a touchdown and we didn't. We missed it, or I forgot who the receiver was.
Caleb missed the throw. I think it was to DJ in the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
So
I just thought that game was a wake-up call of, hey, we need to be more in tune with ourselves and not let easy games get away like that, because I think we really should be 7-2 right now. Yeah. But it is what it is. We won the next 2, which was nice. But yeah, that was my overall thoughts. I just thought that they beat themselves in that game, and we had every opportunity to win that game. We just couldn't convert in the red zone. We couldn't score a touchdown at all, realistically.
Yeah. I think I totally agree with you. Missed opportunities, a lot of fourth downs. Penalties. Obviously, when you get the Ravens without Lamar Jackson, you're expected to win that game. Yeah. They did not. Tyler Huntley looked like Lamar Jackson. He played great, and that's, I think, very concerning for our defense. I again, like I said, I think that was the worst game of the year the Bears have played. I agree with you. They should be 7-2 right now. But then the following week, they got another AFC North team without their superstar quarterback. We played the Bengals. Now, that game, Justin, game last week, there's so much to digest. There's 89 points scored in that game.
Yeah.
And I want to start off by saying I'm just glad that the Bears can finally win shootouts.
Yes.
Like where we have to score more than 30 points and we can do that.
Yeah.
Another week where the defense looked horrible. T. Higgins would look like he was, a high school varsity player going up against the little tykes. Yeah. Right? Like the little 6-year-olds running around trying to tackle him. That was embarrassing. But the Bears made enough plays. They almost let it slip away in the end. Yeah. All right. The defense fell apart, the onside kick recovery. But the Bears' offense was good throughout the entire game. Ben Johnson, he was in his bag against the Bengals. They had they had a few double passes. They had Caleb caught multiple passes. They had the reverse touchdown to Caleb thrown by DJ Moore. Yeah. Tyson Bagent got some action. Thank God we won that game, because if we hadn't, then people would be calling for Tyson Bagent. I'm not trying to have that conversation. Yeah. But the play that everyone's going to remember, the play to Colston Loveland at the end of the game, connecting on that 58-yard touchdown, which made him the Nickelodeon Player of the Week, mind you. It's so glad to see Colston Loveland finally making plays. And we'll talk about it more with this Giants game, but Colston Loveland has now been a part of the offense for several weeks in a row. And that's a breath of relief for me, because I had been screaming that the Bears need to involve Colston Loveland more. I thought he was talented. I didn't think he played bad. I just wanted him to be more involved in the offense. To see him get more targets these last couple weeks really makes me happy. And obviously he won the game last week against the Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, Colston Loveland's going to be our X factor this season. It just feels refreshing to have a tight end that can actually score. Yeah. And I think that can really, especially when guys like Rome, when guys like DJ, Zacchaeus aren't being able to be, if they aren't getting targeted, or if they're getting double covered, if they're getting a lot of coverage on their end, we still have a weapon with Loveland. So it was good to see him out there making an impact on the field.
Yeah. So 1-1 in the 2 episodes that we missed. Yeah. We went 1-0 yesterday, though, Justin. That's the important thing. We moved to 6-3 on the season. We played the Giants. We beat the Giants 24-20. quite honestly, this was a game where the Bears definitely played better in the second half. There was a total vibe shift from the first half to the second half.
Yeah.
In the first half, it was looking scary. You know, they go into half down 10-7. Giants get the ball, score early in the third quarter. You're like, oh, you know what's going on? All of a sudden, it's 17-7. The Bears are down 10 to the Giants at home. What's going on?
Yeah.
The weather was crazy. It was the first instance of Chicago weather, like I like to say. Like it was windy, it was snowy, it was wet. And it didn't matter because the Bears were able to pull it out and get a victory. Caleb, I thought, played really gutsy.
Yeah.
I think the stats in this one for Caleb are worse than his performance. Like we've had a couple of games, and quarterbacks have this all the time where their stats are tremendous and they don't play as good, you know, whatever. Maybe some garbage time stuff. I thought in this one, Caleb played better than the stat sheet says.
He did.
20 of 36, 220 yards, a touchdown, no picks. On the ground, he had 8 carries for 63 yards and another touchdown, including the game winner. Justin, you know, let's just start off with Caleb Williams. What did you think about his performance yesterday?
I thought Caleb was exceptionally. I mean, I thought he was great. I think when you, it's weird, right? He was drafted number 1, and we've talked about this on other episodes before too. When you have that expectation, when you go number 1, you expect to make great plays and you expect to have your team to win. And I really think in these last few games, especially against the Bengals, and even if you want to go back to even the Raiders game, you know, he has tried to put his team in a position to win. And, you know, I'm pretty sure he's very self-aware of himself. He knew that he didn't play well in that first half. So he probably went back to the locker room. Ben Johnson is probably yelling everybody's heads off as usual, right? So I think when you have a great coach like Ben Johnson and when you have a great coaching staff and you have a motivated player like Caleb, I think that he also changed his mindset and he also went into another level. And even when it came down to the last, 4 or 5 minutes of the game and we were still down a lot, to be able to to have Caleb risk is because not every quarterback is going to run or rush. Most will try to be conservative, try to slide, try to throw it out of bounds, But no, Caleb literally said, you know what? I played like trash the first half. The second half, I'm going to put my whole body on the line to try to win. And he did that, right? Only 1 touchdown for him today, but it was the best touchdown we needed, and it was the most important one. Yeah. So, and I agree with you on the point of, the numbers don't really tell what the game really was because, it's more of the eye test, right? You could really tell in that second half he was aggressive, right? Yeah. I mean, there are some, potential drops by Zacchaeus and more, but you saw a guy who said, you know what, I'm going to go out there and put this team on my back and win, and that's, that is the type of quarterback that I will want on my team for sure.
Yeah, and I think another reason why the eye test was better than the raw numbers on the stat sheet is because the Bears couldn't really catch the ball yesterday.
Yeah, no.
They had some issues catching the ball. Like there was some rough drops. DeAndre Swift had a couple. I think Zacchaeus had one at least. I mean, it was rough. Another thing I like to see, and I'll stick on Caleb for just one more second. When that fourth quarter was playing out the way it was playing out, and they got that first touchdown to was it Rome? Yeah, it was Rome. Yeah. When they got the touchdown to Rome and they were down at that point just 1 score, the defense gets a stop. The punter for the Giants shanks the punt. We get the ball at about the 50-yard line. I had no doubt in my mind that we were going to get in the end zone. Yeah. And that was a great feeling. That was a great feeling to know that if the Bears got the ball back, if they got a stop on that drive and they got the ball back, Caleb was going to put them in position to win the game. Yeah. Granted, a lot of that was helped by the shanked punt. I'm not going to complain about that. Right. Yeah. He had a shortened field to go down, but I had no doubt in my mind that Caleb was going to get the Bears down the field and get them in the end zone and win the game. Yeah. I had belief, and then he did it. And that, to me, is the best signal possible that he is a franchise quarterback. Caleb Williams, throughout his entire career, even last year when the Bears weren't even winning all the games that he was playing great in, he has been nails in the fourth quarter. Yes. When you need a play, when you need a drive, when you need to get a score, Caleb Williams is on his A game. Yes. And to me, that is such an encouraging sign that Caleb is – the one. He is the guy. He is the Lisan al-Gaib, as you would say if you were in the Dune universe, right? Yeah. He is going to be the guy for the Bears, and this game is further proof of that. I also wanted to shout out Rome Odunze. Yeah. Got back involved, 6 receptions, 86 yards, 1 touchdown. Did you see the thing with his dad the past week.
Yes.
And did you see what he said in the post-game presser?
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. So they threw him the ball the first play. He says, "Thanks, Dad." Rome funny. Rome was funny for that.
Yeah, he was.
In terms of rushing, pretty good day on the ground. DeAndre Swift, 13 carries, 80 yards, averaged 6 a carry. Caleb Williams, like I said, had 8 for 63, averaged 8 a carry. And then Monungai, 7 carries for 28 yards, averaged 4 a carry. We had 171 rushing yards. Yeah. We averaged 6 yards a carry, which is just our rushing offense was just slightly better than our rushing defense was worse.
Yeah.
Because we allowed 169 rushing yards, 5.6 yards per carry. But we both had 2 touchdowns, ironically. But the Bears ran the ball better than their defense allowed the Giants to run the ball.
They did.
Not by much, but technically they got it. So, again, there's a lot to talk about this fourth quarter. Caleb Williams. Justin, I want to ask you on a negative note.
Yeah.
How concerned are you with this defense right now? Because Jackson Dart, who had to exit the game with a concussion, later in the second half, he looked really good for a while there.
He did.
2 long rushing touchdowns. At one point, he was like 11 for 12 or something. He was on fire. He ended up with 242 yards. How concerned are you with the Bears defense the way they currently look?
I think the level of concern even went back to the Bengals game. I mean, yes, it was a shootout. Yes, both offenses are really good, but one of my friends I had posted the score on my story, and they said both defenses will be running laps next practice. And I agree. I think, if you are honestly, like, I think for me, when you look at this defense, it's been a little inconsistent these past couple of weeks. I mean, I think in the first 3 or 4 weeks we were really controlling the game, and that allowed our offense to come behind it. But I think this causes for concern, especially when we're going up against better teams, because and we'll talk about it later too, but eventually, with the rest of our schedule, we're going to have to get at least 1 or 2 wins against our division rivals. And while when you look at Lions, when you look at the Packers, like, their offense will be there, how can we slow them down defensively? How can we be able to make sure that we're able to stay behind and catch up with them, right? So I definitely think when it comes to this defense, it is a little bit concerning. Yes, it's a great feeling to have Caleb behind us, knowing that we can get ourselves out of anything that we put ourselves in. But in order to, I would say in order to, get a playoff spot, in order to really stack wins, as the league says, we're going to have to tighten up on defense.
Yeah, and I love how you mentioned that, because, right now we've talked about it since the schedule came out.
Yeah.
The Bears, end of the season schedule is brutal.
It's rough.
Brutal. Yeah. And I agree with you that if our defense continues to play the way that it's playing, we're not going to win these tight one-score games. Like, we're going to get blown out by the Detroits and the San Franciscos and the whoever.
Yeah.
So we need some improvement there. I thought C.J. Gardner-Johnson was a nice addition. He made a big play, caused the fumble with Jackson Dart. But I agree, defense, simply put, has to play better. You mentioned the playoffs, Justin.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great segue into talking about this team and where they're at and, zooming out on the season right now.
Yeah.
Like we said, they're 6-3. They have won more games in 9 games this year than they did all of last year.
Crazy.
So props to Ben Johnson. Appreciate you, dog. But I'll say this: at 6-3, you do start to think playoffs.
Oh yeah,
that is something that is in the equation now. They've won enough games at this point of the year to be considered a playoff caliber team.
Yeah.
My question for you, Justin, and I did some research on this. The Bears, as it currently stands. Okay, keep in mind, they're 3 games above 500.
Yeah.
Only have a 44% chance to make the playoffs.
Crazy.
To me, what that tells you is that a lot of publications, a lot of bookies, whatever, still have their doubts about the Bears. Maybe don't think that they are a playoff caliber team. Maybe think that they're just beating up on some bad teams like, the Joe Flacco Ravens, the Saints, the Raiders, the Cowboys, who all are not playoff caliber teams at this point.
Yeah.
With a lot of these juggernaut teams coming up on the horizon, do you think 44% is too low? Would you put their percentage at higher, or do you think that's a fair number to say just below a coin flip for the Bears to make the playoffs?
I think as of right now, I think it's fair. I mean, personally as a fan, I want it to be way higher.
Right.
But I mean, you mentioned it as well, right? We've only won against teams that were below average, but I also give a lot of, which I hate giving credit to other teams, but our division for the past 2 years have been really, really good. Even the Vikings, I mean, they're 4-5, right? We're tied with the Lions 6-3, and then the Packers. Hopefully they lose tonight, but
go Birds,
go Birds.
Go Birds.
I think they will be destroyed. But anyway, I feel like if it was a predictable season, the Vikings don't have Sam Darnold, they're going to struggle. You know, the Packers are unpredictable, and the Lions are going to be top of the rankings. But it hasn't been that way, right? So I think the sports bettors and the bookies are looking at the rest of the division like, oh, these guys could beat any of the teams that are in that division can beat each other on any given Sunday, even with our team. So 44%, I think that's reasonable. I think if it was anything lower, then I'd be like, all right, like you have to give us some credit, right? This is any given Sunday league, right? Look at the Bills yesterday. They lost to the Dolphins. I don't think any bookie would have had the money line on the Dolphins yesterday as terrible as they have been this season. So
that was a really random one.
Yeah, no, that was a really random one. Especially,
I was like, what? I was like, are my eyes not working? Am I like,
especially when they were like down 0-16 or 0-17? I'm like, this is insane. But yeah, it's an any given Sunday league, so I will say that percentage is fair. I think for us, like I've said before earlier in this podcast, we have to get a win against a good team to really prove ourselves and establish ourselves, for the playoffs.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I agree with a lot of what you said. I don't disagree with anything you said, is what I should say. But Bears have 6 wins right now. The way I see it is that to make the playoffs, you got to have at least 9 wins, probably 10.
Yeah.
So that would mean, do the Bears win 4 of the next, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games? I should have been able to do that math in my head. That was.
Eventually, it was going to happen. So brain rot has entered my. It's
actually 8 more games. I can't count. I can't count, and then you just did that, and we just lost all legitimacy as a program. But
show's canceled. It's over.
We got 8 more games. If the Bears go 500 the rest of the season, I think they make the playoffs.
I think so too.
Do the Bears go 500 against the Vikings, Steelers, Eagles, Packers twice, Bears, Browns, Niners, and Lions? Do they go 500 in that category? I think that is very interesting. Yeah. Again, I think in the NFC in 2025, I think you have to have 10 wins to make the playoffs.
Oh, for sure, especially in our division, because I'll look more at the Lions. The Lions are going to be probably first or second.
Yes, I agree.
The Packers, they're going to be a little bit of a wild card. I expect the Vikings to probably be a 500 team, but I don't expect them to be a playoff contender.
Yeah.
But our division, like, we have to be able to get some wins and some security there.
Yeah, and I'll say this, like, you look at the NFC West. Between Seattle and the Rams, one of those teams is going to be a wild card team, right? Maybe even the 49ers. The 49ers still aren't going away, right? They're still fine. So you have competition there. In the NFC North, we think the Packers are going to be the wild card team if the Lions win the North. So now you've got the Seahawks/Rams. You've got the Packers. That leaves like one open wild card spot. That's going to be the 49ers. Could that be, the Falcons? Could that be the Bears? Could that be the Vikings if they, pull their season together? So this is not an easy – I think you're really vying for that 7th seed in the wild card. I don't think the Bears can afford to try to get that 7th seed with 9 wins. I don't think they should do that. I don't think they can do that. Excuse me.
Yeah, funny enough, I actually just looked on the NFL's website, and they are, like, if the playoffs ended today, they are ranked 7th. They are at 7th spot. So
it would be a 7th seed, and they would play, the 2 seed?
Yeah, so it'd be the Eagles.
It'd be the Eagles, yeah.
Good Lord.
Who's number 1 seed?
It says Seahawks right now.
Seahawks,
so, yeah. Sorry. Go Birds.
No, it's funny. So now I think we should get into our analysis of, and there's a reason I brought up Seattle, not just because I'm a homer. Yeah. But there is a reason I brought up Seattle, and it is because when we're talking about this Vikings game coming up, you mentioned the quarterback that they had last year, Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold is not there this year.
Nope.
And the big question regarding the Vikings team, which we weren't going to know in week 1 because it was the first game of the year when we played the Vikings, but I think now we have more of a good idea. The question surrounding the Vikings last year was it the system? Was it Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson and the Vikings offense? Or was it Sam Darnold just being a really good QB? And I think a lot of people were in favor of It is a QB-proof system.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin O'Connell's a great coach. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be fine without Sam Darnold. And then Sam Darnold leaves and he goes to Seattle.
Yeah.
As it stands right now,
mm-hmm.
Sam Darnold's getting the better end of that deal.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, the Seahawks are getting the better end of that deal because Sam Darnold is playing great outside of Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
J.J. McCarthy, and I'll give him, I won't even mention the Carson Wentz stuff because Carson Wentz is a backup, McCarthy got hurt, etc. But in the games that J.J. McCarthy's played, he has not been very good. He kind of got, a little, I would say, fluky comeback against the Bears in week 1. We kind of let that one slip away in our fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And then since then, I think he's just been out of rhythm. He's been out of sync. Now, I understand that this is essentially his rookie year because he didn't play last year. He was injured.
Yeah.
But I would say if you're the Vikings, would you go back and would you keep Sam Darnold knowing what you know right now?
I would say yeah, right? I mean, I think, and honestly, this is a wild take, but I think if the Vikings still had Sam Darnold, we would be last because it would be which is crazy to think about, but I mean they had a insane record last year.
Yeah.
And like you said, their system worked really well, and you can kind of see the same thing in Seattle where they're it's working for Sam Darnold's benefit. Mm-hmm. And I think when you also think about, having and I'll give Sam Darnold some credit too. I mean, to have a guy who really bounced around the league for a couple of years, and I feel like, especially with last year coming into this year, who has really found his footing as a solid starter. He's not going to give you 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, and he's not going to rush into the end zone like Caleb. But if you want a guy who is going to be X amount of percentage, if you want a consistent guy who's not going to go, throw for throw in a shootout, you get Sam Darnold. And I think if you're Minnesota, yes, you're 4-5. Yes, J.J. McCarthy has shown different shades of progress, and he looks really good, right? But
consistency isn't there.
Consistency is not there. Mm-hmm. And then when you really look at it, a lot of those Viking games, especially, I'm not going to say they're us because we have a better record, but if you put them against Philadelphia, if you put them against the Rams, if you put them against the Lions, which that game was kind of crazy too to watch when they played each other a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
They're in a playoff setting or in a decisive game, they're losing 100%. So I would say if I'm the Minnesota Vikings and I'm looking back and man, I feel like if the Vikings really wanted to keep Sam Darnold, they would have, but I feel like they kind of were like, we don't want to pay him the money, and last season was a fluke.
He didn't get a huge contract from Seattle.
He didn't.
That's the thing. I mean, they're paying him. I think it was 3 years, $100 million, $105 million. Like, that's relatively pennies for most quarterbacks. I agree with you on J.J. McCarthy. Mm-hmm. Division games are always weird. Like they beat the Lions a couple weeks ago. Yeah. The Ravens just handled them, even though it was fairly close. Again, like I still really like their coaching. I still really like their skill position players. Mm-hmm. I'm not sold on J.J. McCarthy yet, or as people on the internet call him, Nine. Have you seen that?
Fake demon.
Yeah, have you seen that? Yeah, they call him Nine. His alter ego. It's like, chill out, bro. You're not Batman. Okay,
no,
like,
not at all.
Let's pump the brakes a little bit. Yeah. But I don't know. The Vikings to me are still dangerous. I have respect for the coaching staff. I have respect for the team. Brian Flores, their defense coordinator, is excellent. They're a very well coached team, and you can never take those teams for granted. The Vikings right now, as it currently stands, are 2.5 point favorites against the Bears.
Crazy.
It is in Minnesota, which I think does help. I think this game would probably be more of a pick 'em if it was in Chicago.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Justin. I think maybe we get into some of the key matchups, and then we kind of give our score predictions. I will say I've remained undefeated on the year.
Yeah, you do.
I've been 10-0 so far in terms of, or 9-0, excuse me, in predicting the Bears games. Justin, before we get into score prediction, what's a key matchup that the Bears have to watch out for?
I mean, it's easy, right? We have to be able to contain Justin Jefferson. And you look at week 1, for 3 quarters, it seemed like we contained him. And then in the 4th quarter, he was able to get some key catches against McCarthy, and they were able to win that game. So I think reiterating, having Gardner Johnson, I think could be a huge addition. We're probably going to have to double team him. We're probably going to have to really focus on him. I think also as well, which I thought about while I was writing the script last night. I will say that the Week 1 Chicago Bears are not the Week 9 Chicago Bears.
True.
I think we were still kind of feeling. I mean, there was a lot of new pieces that were added. We were trying to feel each other out and really get a sense of how we are in the offense. But I think definitely the Vikings are facing a different Bears team, and I think Ben Johnson has in his mind, the expectation for any division rival, even if it's the Lions or the Packers, better teams, we are going to go out there and we're going to win. Mm-hmm. And like I said before, like in order to make the playoffs, in order to hopefully get out of the 7th spot, we're going to have to get some division wins.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, 100%.
And that if you're able to go number 1, you can replace the Packers, which right now they're at 3, and you can get that 3 seed. And maybe that's crazy. If the playoffs ended today, Packers would face the Lions, which
that'd be so
is fun because
in Green Bay too.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a lot of fun.
So that's also insane. But yeah, I think that's the biggest matchup. I think also as well, in previous games we've seen that when J.J. McCarthy is pressured, he does not perform well.
Yeah.
He's very similar to Caleb, where he gets frantic in the pocket. He makes a crazy throw, or he makes a lot of incomplete throws. So I think if we're able to pressure him as much and really stay on him, he's going to be ineffective, right? And it goes back to our defense. I think also as well, it's been kind of shaky these past couple of games. But if you look back at it, we had to face T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and Derrick Henry. So really, when you look at this team, besides Justin Jefferson, I can't think of a threat.
I think the biggest matchup for me in this game is going to be how does the Bears' offensive line respond to the complex schemes of Brian Flores, the Vikings defensive coordinator. He is one of the most creative, intuitive, disciplined defensive coordinators in the NFL.
Yeah.
And he is so good at getting free rushers at the quarterback. Mm-hmm. The Bears are going to have to communicate well up front. They're going to have to know their blocking assignments. They're going to have to know who's responsible for who.
Yeah.
It is going to be a long day if the Bears are not able to pick up on the blitzes that Brian Flores is going to send their way. So, to me, that's the key matchup. I agree with you. Justin Jefferson obviously need to keep him contained. I was looking this up while you were talking. Justin Jefferson only has 2 100-yard games all year. Has not had a 100-yard game since October 5th.
Yeah, that's, man.
I mean, I think the JJ to JJ connection, as they're calling it, isn't firing on all cylinders yet. So,
yeah.
Justin, I'll start with you, not to put you on the spot or anything, but go ahead and shoot me a game prediction. And when you're done, I think I'll give mine, and then maybe I think we're good to go.
Yeah. So I will say for this game, we're gonna win it 28-20. I do think our defense will still. I think our defense will be better, but I'm not gonna sit up here and say we're gonna shut them out. We haven't had a shutout all season long.
No.
And if I'm winning, I would rather win by a touchdown or two than not win. Than to have a shutout and be close. Like, I have to give and take, right? So I'd rather win knowing that we were able to slow them down and, have a nice little lead versus trying to overly predict that they're going to blow them out by 40. It's unrealistic in today's game. Like I said, the Bills lost to the Dolphins yesterday. This is any given Sunday type of league, and anybody can win. They're all professional football players for a reason. So my prediction is 28-20. I think we are going to go neck and neck for most of the game, and then it's going to come down to the fourth quarter again where we're able to separate ourselves and be able to go in there and win. I also think as well, being inside in the dome, we're not going to have any harsh weather, any conditions. I think that'll definitely play to our advantage as well.
Yeah, I keep going back and forth on this. Again, I don't want to understate how much respect I have for the Vikings coaching staff. I think they're one of the best coach teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
But I'm not sold on JJ. Give me the Bears 21-16.
Wow.
Low-scoring game. I don't think we light up the scoreboard. I think our defense does enough. We caused a couple turnovers. That's another prediction I'll make. We get back into the turnover. The Bears, honestly, turnovers have been the theme of the Bears' defense all year.
Yeah.
They've not been a great defense, but they have turned the ball over at an elite rate. And giving extra possessions for Caleb, keeping offenses off the field. Give me the Bears 21-16. They move to 7-3, and they get their first divisional win of the year. How about that, huh?
How about that?
How about
you like that? You like that?
And
Kirk Cousins
prepare then the next week for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. Oh.
I want to see the Bears win 550-0. Do what the Chargers did to them last night. Just whoop their butts. Anyways.
Before we end,
go ahead.
I saw a comment on our TikTok that was saying that Brian Dable is out in New York. So that means
the sky is blue.
And the sky is blue, right?
Green,
so
yep.
It's not really a shock, but it's just like you almost think that if the Bears would have lost, would he still have a job? Who knows?
No.
I would say no too, but
no. You got. I mean, I think they drafted Jackson Dart to save his job. And, while Jackson Dart as an individual has been good, and I think he's been promising, they're 2-8. Like, they're 2-8. Yeah. They're what the Giants have been the past few years. So
his career record with the Giants is like 21-41. That's horrendous.
Yeah, you can't lose more than two. You can't lose twice the amount of games as you win and be an NFL head coach for long.
Yeah.
I will say too, the other reason they might fire Ryan Dable is that now that they have a solid offensive core in place with Jackson Dart, with Cam Scadaboo, with Malik Neighbors, they might be an attractive destination for a coach.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Young.
Who knows? Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think that'll do it. Thank you guys for watching our episode of Bears Talk today. Vikings game. After the Vikings game on Monday, we will be live. We will be talking about the game. We'll be recapping the game. We'll be breaking down another Bears win.
Yes.
Hopefully. But thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace out.
Peace.